This is Duke University.
Thank you so much for the honor and privilege to be here today. After hearing all the incredible successes from CASE, I'm truly honored to be here. So I'm Rachel Lichte. That's me. This past summer, celebrating African Child's Day at Muddy Lotus Primary School in Bongoma Village, Sierra Leone, West Africa. You can't actually tell from the image here, but we're dancing to Rihanna, because it turns out that Sierra Leoneans of all ages absolutely love Rihanna. So by way of a quick introduction, I'm a Master's of Environmental Management and MBA student here at Duke. I came to Duke because of places just like CASE. I wanted to understand the environmental foundations upon which sustainable business can be built, and I wanted to better understand how to bring social enterprise to scale. After receiving an undergraduate degree in anthropology and film and digital media, I went on to work in international development, branding for social enterprises and corporate social responsibility programs, and most recently, social enterprise. You're probably wondering, what am I doing here dancing to Rihanna wearing this awesome dress? To answer that question, I want to bring you back to 2009. So in 2009, we started noticing something extraordinary. It was contagious. It was this incredible phenomenon in which my friends' hands started turning from this to this. And it turns out that it wasn't just my friends, that this happens to more than 2 million women each year in the US alone. And that the people that are doing the asking spend more than $7.7 billion each year for the privilege of that yes. This is a really big purchase. This is a really big moment. People spend on average $6,000 on that ring. They save more than 3 months' salary just for that purchase. And yet my friends were conflicted. They'd seen Blood Diamond, they heard from Leonardo DiCaprio that something wasn't quite right, and they didn't know what it was. They didn't know where to look for more answers. But we wanted to learn more. So we started to learn more. So just to give, this is going to be a very broad and rough overview of the diamond supply chain. So 65% of the world's diamonds come from Africa. Countries like Botswana, Angola, Zimbabwe, Namibia, South Africa, Congo. And they're explored, mined, and then sent to India for cutting and polishing. After they're cut and polished in India, they make their way to places like Israel, Antwerp, London, where they're kind of sorted and bid upon and priced and auctioned off. And then they're sent different places like New York and all over, and end up in jewelers' workshops and end up on our fingers. 80% of the diamonds that are traded worldwide are from these really large-scale mines that we most often think about. The mines that we learned about in the case Botswana, if you're a first year, or if you're a second year as well. So these really large-scale mines. But that doesn't take into account the other 20%. The other 20% is mined artisanally or in small-scale mines like this one. This is an artisanal mine. This is a picture of an artisanal mine taken in Kono, Sierra Leone. These people make $1.25 a day if they're lucky. They might find a diamond ever so often. There's no guarantees. The work is really hard. There's often child labor involved. And it's a poverty-driven activity. Very few people would ever choose to go into this. And they don't even see the value of these final stones. When I asked the diamond digger who found these stones how much they would get for it, he said $10 at the local dealer. It's a far cry from the hundreds to even thousands that these rough stones will get on the open market. But the issues aren't just financial. They're massive global security issues as well. Some of you might have heard about the civil war in Sierra Leone. It was 11 years long, from 1990 to 2001, and it was fueled by the illicit sale of diamonds. Diamonds were literally stolen from diggers and traded to fund civil war and armed conflict. Yes, this happened in Sierra Leone, but it also happened in Angola, Ivory Coast, Liberia, Central African Republic. the list goes on. The Kimberley process was created in order to put a halt to these. And to a large degree, it did a good job. It curbed the sale of rough stones just for armed conflict and civil war. But it didn't go far enough to address a lot of the underlying issues that led to some of these wars to begin with. Like this. This is in Koidu town. Billions and billions of dollars worth of diamonds have been pulled out of this town. And one would never imagine that just by looking at this road. That would be unacceptable in a place like this. This is a decade after the Civil War, and the buildings are still in complete disarray. There's a massive diamond mine in the back. I don't know if you can see it. It almost looks like a little mountain. This is actually the overburden from a huge mine. So if you were to look from above, it's just this huge hole. So there's a massive mine here. It's an international mine. And the majority of the money is being taken out. None of it is being reinvested. And the community is made up mostly of diamond miners. And a lot of them, because of the war, are illiterate, are uneducated, and don't have other livelihood options. So this has become a real social trap. But it's not just social either. It's also environmental. After miners leave a mine, after it's been out-mined, if they don't cover it back up, the land is just left abandoned. For impoverished communities where agriculture is the cornerstone of economic development, this is a complete waste of land and does not allow them to engage in the agricultural activities that they might need to grow. Additionally, if the pits are filled with water, not only does it breed mosquitoes that leads to malaria and other diseases, tropical diseases like schistosomiasis, but it also presents drowning risks. This summer, I spoke to someone who mentioned that her friend had died 2 months ago from drowning in an abandoned mine. This is unacceptable. I can't imagine a product with a greater disconnect between the circumstance of its giving and the circumstance of its source. And this is really where that story of 2009 begins to intersect with the story of supply. We had dissatisfied customers, we had a problem, and now we wanted to start looking at a solution. How could we create jewelry that people could feel confident in? And how could we find diamonds that actually enrich the lives of those that worked so hard for it? So we started with one ring. And in 2009, we founded the Clarity Project. The Clarity Project is one business, one brand, one mechanism that we see can convert this injustice into an opportunity and this unmet need into a market. We are a B Corporation certified social enterprise. We source fair diamonds, gems, and metals. We make and sell ready-to-wear jewelry like engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, bracelets. And we invest our net profits back into mining communities to support primary education, adult literacy, and sustainable agriculture. Over the past few years, we've been able to support more than 700 children through primary school, more than 4 adult literacy programs. We've been involved in international conversations about creating an ethical supply chain of diamonds. And most recently, this past summer, we helped to, with our partner, Diamond Development Initiative, really formalize and finalize a new standard for diamonds that don't just not do bad things, but actually start to do really good things. They're called development diamonds, and they should be hitting the market next year. And we found that this story really resonates. We've received calls from people that got married 10 years ago, and they say, I just found your website, I'm ready to get a ring. It brings me back to Muddy Lotus School, where I was dancing. Muddy Lotus School is made up of students who are the children of miners. They are now able to receive an education that their parents didn't have the opportunity to. They'll have the opportunity to pursue new livelihoods and new interests that haven't been possible in these areas before. These are just diamonds, this is one community, but these issues are widespread. If anyone's opened the newspaper in the past 2 weeks, perhaps you've heard about what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo with conflict minerals. Right now, because of the huge demand in a number of minerals that go into our technologies like our phones and our computers, right now there are rebel groups that are illicitly taking these minerals and causing great violence in eastern Congo. That then they're taking the minerals and it then makes its way onto the global market. That's happening right now. And as we think about accountability cross-trade, it's not just minerals, it's not just extraction or these atrocities. There's a lot more. It's about responsibility in lending or even understanding just how we move across our supply chain. We have a lot of work to do with the Clarity Project. We have a long way to go. But if there's something that I hope that you can take away from the past 10 minutes that you've given me, it's a ruthless desire to understand the impact of our actions. The desire to turn dissatisfaction into opportunity and to use business for long-term positive change. We're one company, or a small company in the jewelry industry, but what excites me so much about being here today is that looking out in this audience, I know that you're each working on your own projects, and that's so critical because each of us, this community that CASE has brought together, each of us can break off one small problems of these massive issues that none of us would ever be able to tackle alone. And this is really what I believe social enterprise is about, and what makes me so excited to be here today to celebrate CASE. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak today, and happy anniversary to CASE.